respect for Dave. I mean, he was a good frontman of that style, but that wasn't anything I ever wanted to be. Growing up, when I was saying, I'm gonna be a musician.
You ever seen two rock stars beef for so long it turns into legend? I'm talking real drama, not tabloid junk. The kind of grudge that burns slow, real slow for decades. That's exactly what's been going down between Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth. And when Roth popped up years later saying he was coming out of retirement like it was the second coming of rock, Sammy didn't even get mad. He laughed so hard, dude fell out of his chair. But behind that laugh, there's a long, ugly history. One built on ego, betrayal, and two totally different visions of what Van Halen was supposed to be. Because this wasn't just a style clash. This was war for the band's soul. Let's rewind. When Sammy Hagar joined Van Halen, he already had hits. He didn't need to prove himself. But David Lee Roth? Sammy didn't rate him. Yeah, Roth had the fans, the flips, the flash. But to Hagar, it all felt like a circus act. See, Sammy came from the school of real musicians, Clapton, Page, Jagger. He respected raw talent, not just big egos and big hair. And to him, Roth was all show, no soul. Jumping off speakers, screaming wild, waving his chest around like it was part of the set list. Sammy saw a guy obsessed with attention, not sound, not substance. He said it straight up. Roth was fun to watch, but there was nothing behind the curtain. And for a guy like Hagar, who lived for the music, that was unforgivable. But this wasn't just two frontmen with different vibes. This was a split in the foundation of Van Halen itself. To fans, Roth was Van Halen. To Hagar, Roth was holding the band back from what it could really be. Van Halen had the chops to go beyond the party rock scene. Deeper songs, stronger vocals, a band that actually meant something. But as long as Roth was center stage, it was all glitter, no grit. So when Hagar joined, he didn't just take Roth's mic, he changed the whole direction of the band, and that pissed a lot of people off. Roth fans cried sellout. Hagar fans praised the maturity. And just like that, the band had two eras and two armies. But the beef didn't stop when Roth left the building. Because when they tried to share a stage again in 2002, yeah, it blew up. See, by that time, Roth was living off his legacy, still striking those same poses, still acting like the wildest dude in rock. And Sammy, he'd had it. On tour together, the tension was so thick you could cut it with a pick. Off stage, they didn't speak. On stage, they were playing a game of one-up. Who could shout louder, jump higher, steal the spotlight harder? But here's the twist. Sammy looked at Roth and didn't see a legend. He saw a mask. All that confidence, that over-the-top energy, to Sammy it was a front. A way for Roth to cover up the fact that deep down, he needed all that attention to feel alive. Sammy said Roth wasn't in it for the music anymore. He was in it for himself. He saw Roth trying to dominate interviews, talk over bandmates, act like he was still king, even when the throne was long gone. Sammy didn't just roll his eyes. He saw it as toxic. A guy so hooked on being the man, he forgot how to be part of the band. And when fans started noticing that tension on stage, it wasn't just two singers having a bad night. It was decades of bad blood, fake smiles, and silent backstage blow-ups finally boiling over in public. Sammy even said Roth would twist reality, play the victim, spin the story. And the whole time, he's thinking, you left the band, man. You bailed. Don't come back now and act like we stole something from you. But the craziest part, even after all the jabs, the shade, the back and forth, they still tried to tour together, again. And it went just how you think. The 2002 co-headlining tour, it was chaos. They weren't sharing a stage out of love for the fans. They were trying to outshine each other, every single night. One wanted to bring back the party, the other wanted to move the music forward. And in the middle, a band caught in the crossfire. So yeah, when Roth came out of nowhere years later talking about a comeback, that laugh from Hagar, that wasn't just a joke. That was a man who'd been there, seen it all, and knew exactly what was behind that curtain. Because sometimes, the loudest voice in the room ain't the strongest. Sometimes the guy holding the mic just doesn't realize the show's already over.